You know what time it is. Daily Playbook time. So let's dive in. The quote of the day today is by Ernest Hemingway. There's nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is being superior to your former self. I love this quote. This quote is all about not comparing yourself, not competing with others. It's about seeing where you were yesterday and seeing the progress you're making today. And that goes for like the past. It goes for a year ago. It goes for 5 years ago. Where you were to where you are now, and where you are now to where you want to be. You are not in a race. You are not competing with anyone, unless you're in sports. That's the only time that competition is really healthy. If we are competing and we are trying to be superior to others, we are in our ego. And, sometimes that does get us a certain distance, right? Like sometimes competing with other people, like whether there's somebody at work and you're trying to like outdo them. But at the root, trying to be superior to anyone is not going to make you feel good in the long run. What you want to do is really focus on yourself. And, Michael Jordan used to talk about this. He would say that he wasn't competing with anybody else. He was literally just competing with himself. He wanted to be the best he could be. And he got to a point where he was the greatest, in the world at what he did, at his sport, at basketball. He was considered the greatest basketball player, And so he then couldn't compete with anybody else, right? Except himself. So he had to keep pushing himself to get to that next level, until he is now legendary. And that is something to think about. If we're competing with others, then we're not going to push ourselves even harder, because we know instinctually what we're capable of, and sometimes we can look at somebody who's achieved a lot or is an expert at their business, and we want to compete with them, right? But maybe they've been doing it for 20 years longer than us. It's not going to help us to try and compete with that. In fact, it might actually make us want to, give up. It may make us just not feel good about where we're at. It may cripple us and stifle our growth. Maybe we won't want to contribute, or we won't want to share what we're doing because we're comparing it to something at such a high level instead of comparing it to ourselves yesterday or a year ago or 5 years ago. And a lot of people I see, as a coach, I see a lot of people who stop before they even start. So they get an idea, they have this desire, this dream that they hold in their heart, but they stop themselves before they even take any action on it, because they see other people who are so much better in their mind. They're comparing themselves, and they see people that are so much better at it than they are. But the truth is, that person maybe has been doing it for 10, 15 years. How can you expect to be at that level right out the gate? Of course, there's some beginner's luck in certain things, and I believe that beginner's luck has to do with people not having an idea about something. So they don't have the resistance attached to whatever it is they're trying because they've never done it. They don't expect to be good. They're not putting the pressure or the anxiety of being good at something because they're new at it. I remember the first time I went golfing, I won. I beat everybody at golf, and I could not believe it. It was crazy. And everyone was like, it's beginner's luck. That's how you did it. And I would agree. I think that I had no resistance. I had no anxiety about golfing. I just was going to do the best I could, and I did. And people were kind of blown away because I went with people that had been golfing for a long time. And it's funny to me now because they were so upset, and there was so much tension when I was beating them. But it just had to do with, them just having more of a belief that they should be better than me. They were competing with me, and golf is a great sport because most golfers compete with themselves. They want to do better than they did last time. And But they weren't doing that. They were just trying to, be the best. And the question or action for today is, can you see the growth from where you started this playbook to now? What are some changes that occurred? So if you have experienced growth during this process, I would love to hear about it. Please leave it in the comments. Let me know if there's like a day that stands out at you, if there's a quote you really enjoyed, whatever you want to share. I would love to read it. And it would be nice to share it with the community too, because there may be something that you picked up on that somebody else didn't, and then they'll have an aha moment or a great insight based on what you share. So share it, and I'll see you again tomorrow.